All right, the Bucks. It is Talking Buccaneers, out and about somewhere in Johannesburg with me, Fumane, and so I am out, celebrating a friend's birthday and sitting here after a few drinks, a few non-alcoholic drinks. I have a few thoughts that I would like to share, and it is about my apology that I owe to Jose Riveiro. Yeah, I certainly was in that camp of, being skeptical about our coach. I was definitely in the camp of, who is this guy? What is he about? Certainly after a few games, seeing him play and things like that, the doubt was even further intensified. Thank you. The doubt was even further intensified. Playing the three at the back, the players that were playing, some players that were out, injured. I just didn't have any trust. I think if you go through some of my videos, if I'm not mistaken, I did a video when we played Swallows, right after the Chiefs game, and I articulated some of my thoughts, and some of my thoughts were, I am doubting whether Jose Riveiro is the man that can take us forward. I think I even said it when we played Maritzburg at Orlando Stadium this year. It's just some of my thoughts were, I'm doubtful of Jose Riveiro, whether or not he's the man. But, after the achievements this year, I just want to be frank in saying that, I beg your pardon. I just want to be frank in saying that it's not that I'm at 100% about him. It's not that I'm fully convinced that he's the person that's going to take us back to the top of South African football. But certainly what he's doing right now is getting us back to close to that position. I think we have, this season, went up a notch in terms of increased the belief inside of the club. I think if you talk to most fans and myself, you have this belief about we are a club that can challenge for things. I think we've done well for ourselves under the stewardship of Jose Riveiro this season to win 2 trophies and make sure that we get that second spot and qualify for the CAF Champions League, bring back the feeling of playing in Africa, bring back African football in Orlando Stadium, have these boys play 3 times a week, play on Saturday, play on Wednesday, and then play on Sunday again. I think that's what we want as fans. And in all honesty, all credit to Jose Riveiro, his technical team. I think one of the other things that I love about him is hearing me say this. If I had the honor to even say this to his face, I think his response would be, he doesn't deserve the credit. The credit should go to the players. The credit should go to the technical team. And I just think I love the coach. There's something about him that I love suddenly. His humility, just how he characterizes our team. He loved to say that we are the humble and ambitious group. And it is evident, when you watch the boys play, you can see that they're a very humble group. When you see them interact in the media with one another, on social media, they're a very humble group. And yet they're very ambitious. You can tell that they want to win big things. They want to win big things together. And all credit to Jose Riveiro, our coach. His stewardship has led us to that position. And in saying that though, I do want to be clear in that I'm not saying that he's the best coach or whatever, or maybe there's not a coach who can take us to an even better position than he has done. Because I do certainly think that when things are going well, you start to look for things that aren't going well. I think once we get used to the fact that we are a top team again, we will start to notice, what I think we will start to notice is that we don't play such brilliant football. I've seen us play brilliant football this season. I'm thinking about the game against Amazulu. I'm thinking about games much earlier in 2023 against Stellenbosch, against Amazulu. We played brilliant games there, but it almost just always seems like it's individual quality. And obviously, individual quality, the credit should go to the coach again, because he's the one that picks the players. But when you feel it when the system is working well at a club, This is why we love football, in that when the system is right, a team that doesn't have stars can beat a team that has stars, right? This is why we love this game, because clubs like Richards Bay, with all due respect, at some point were second on the log, competing for that second spot. It's because they found a system. The coach has found a collective, and they're doing things right, which sets them up for victory and success. And so, yeah, you just know it when the system is right. But at times, you're just in a blessed position in that you are Orlando Pirates, you've got the resources and you've got the players. And so these players sometimes will individually make things happen, and they'll play beautiful stuff. And I think at times this season, that's how I've felt. I've felt that the players have risen to the occasion, especially because of the belief. They've been winning stuff, they've been winning games. So the belief starts to grow amongst the group. And yeah, the game against Amazulu, you could tell that the confidence and the belief was so high. The players just knew that they were going to make things happen by themselves. You know, people like Ratomo on the pitch, Lodge was on the pitch, Erasmus, and I mean, we are spoiled for quality at Orlando Pirates, let's be fair about that. And so, yeah, to go back to the point, you know, so I don't ramble too much, is that I think at some point we'll start to realize that he doesn't play the most entertaining football. I think he's quite a pragmatic coach. I've seen him in games versus Mamelodi Sundowns, and some games where we've played almost with a 5 at the back, you know, that system with the 3 centre backs and the wing backs. And then we played 3 central midfielders who you'd argue that they have an inclination to defend first more than attack. I think against Sundowns, the game that I'm referring to, we lost 1-0 at Orlando Stadium this year in 2023. We were playing with Goodman, Musele, Tim, and Monari, and we were playing with a 3 centre backs and 2 wing backs, and yeah, only had 2 people to offer offense for us, which was Erasmus and Saleng. And I think it does get a bit frustrating when we start to play like that, especially when you lose that game. When you set out to defend against Sundowns and then you lose that game, it does tend to get a bit frustrating. So that is a characteristic that I've seen about the coach, is that he's quite a bit of a pragmatic. He will sometimes sit back and soak the pressure and look to be responsible and not attack. And I mean, at a big club, let's be fair, if you're at Kaizer Chiefs, if you're at Orlando Pirates, if you're at Mamelodi Sundowns, arguably SuperSport United, and maybe in the conversation you can throw some other teams that I don't really think are in that bracket, with all due respect. You do expect that your team should be on the offense all the time. You expect that your team takes the initiative, you take the game to the opposition. And even when we do that, I just think that we are still not drilled to dominate in spaces, in pockets, and things like that. And I wonder if that's somewhere we can get to. But, you know, having said that, I still think the coach deserves credit. His football has gotten us where we are, and long may that continue. It's going to be interesting to see the signings, the additions onto the squad, just how the board backs the coach up with the players that he might have identified, or the people that are tasked with scouting, you know, the scouting department, everyone in the club who's responsible for recruitment of players that are going to aid the system of the coach. It's so interesting to see whether, you know, the board and the coach they've got one vision in terms of the football that we want to play as a club, and how they back him up, the kind of players that they will give him, you know, to aid him and support him with the football and the system that he wants to play. So that's so interesting to me. But until we see that, in the meantime, I really do want to say this. I owe Jose Riveiro an apology. I was a doubter. Now I believe in where we're going with him. Where the twilight of that is, I have no idea as yet. Like I say, it's going to depend on signings, it's going to depend on various couple of factors. Even the thing about, you know, the board getting involved with during games, you know, making substitutions and things like that. I think he deserves to be trusted and implement his ideas. I mean, it's hard to even say currently who to point the success that we've had to. I want to say to the coach, because he's the face of it all. And so this is why I'm coming and saying I apologize to Jose Riveiro. But yeah, I just think that going forward, if he's to be trusted, if he's to be backed up, we are headed in the right direction, and massive credit to the head coach. I love his press conferences. I love how he speaks about the team. I love how the players speak about him. You know, there's been a lot of digs in the media about him being the plumber, and I just love how his players have come out and defended him. Not that he would maybe want them to come out and do that, but the players have done that, and you can tell that they absolutely love him. They love to work under him. I listened to Lodge, I think it was. I listened to Saleng and Marco, who were speaking about he might have, the coach had a tough time to adapt to, you know, the players. The coach has spoken about it himself, that, you know, coming into a new country, the kind of players that we have, and he's had massive compliments about it. Even if you go to the lower divisions, South Africa is so blessed with technical players, and he had to adjust to that, surprisingly, being from Spain. But maybe it's his time in Finland that got him used to a certain kind of football. But yeah, just massive credit to him. I think we are heading in the right direction, and I personally owe him an apology. And this is my apology, and I want to say publicly to the 3 people that are going to listen to this podcast that I believe in Jose Riveiro, and I think we all should. I think the board should, and I think they should back him up, and we should support him. What we can do as the fans is to be vocal about our support for him, especially at the stadium 3 months from now, sadly enough, when we get to go into the stadium. But in the meantime, you know, on social media, let's show some love. Let's do that kind of thing. Yeah, this is all I wanted to say. What do you guys think? What do you think about Jose Riveiro? Do you think he's the man to take us forward? But yeah, in the meantime, until I speak about something else again, which is going to be very soon, be on the lookout. There's a lot of stuff for off-season that I'm planning to shoot. But yeah, until then, up the mighty Bucks. Cheers.